Peking University study, 900 million Chinese have been infected. The China CDC claims to have found the XBB variant locally. Expert, the peak of the epidemic in China will last 2 to 3 months, and the death toll will continue to rise. Many CCP police officers died mysteriously. The youngest was just 37 years old. After Biden announced his 2020 presidential campaign, China's donations to the Biden Center increased by 400% to $50 million. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Peking University study, 900 million Chinese have been infected. The China CDC claims to have found the XBB variant locally. According to NTD-TV, a Peking University study showed that, as of January 11th, about 900 million people in China were infected with COVID. Gansu province topped the list with 91% of the population infected, followed by Yunnan with 84% and Qinghai with 80%. The Chinese government's epidemic data has been seriously distorted. Hunan province in China is currently the only province that provides detailed information on infection rates. Earlier this month, a health official in Hunan province reported that about 90% of the population was infected, equaling nearly 90 million people. Notably, Mr. Chen Chao, a researcher at the China CDC, declared at a press conference on January 13 that from December 1 of last year to January 12 of this year, China has detected 34 cases of infection with the Omicron subvariant XBB, of which 1 case was detected locally and 33 cases were imported. The official CCP data, however, is unreliable, and China has suspended large-scale nucleic acid testing. Therefore, XBB is very likely to have contributed to the current epidemic wave in China. XBB has drawn attention for its ability to evade the human immune system after causing a wave of infections in Singapore last year. In October 2022, a new Omicron variant known as XBB.1.5 was discovered. XBB.1.5 differs from XBB in that it carries an unusual mutation known as F486P, which allows it to invade the human immune system while also enhancing XBB's contagious ability. According to CNN, the XBB.1.5 variant is quickly spreading throughout the United States. The United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a report on January 6 stating that the rate of new COVID-19 infections caused by XBB.1.5 in December 2022 jumped from 4% to 18% and is expected to increase even more. As we earlier reported, people who have XBB.1.5 usually have uncontrollable diarrhea. Currently, many areas in mainland China have seen a surge in cases of this symptom, prompting netizens to believe that the next wave of XBB.1.5 infections has begun. Expert, the peak of the epidemic in China will last 2 to 3 months, and the death toll will continue to rise. According to Chinese official media, more than a third of the mainland population now lives in an area where the epidemic has passed its peak. Mr. Zheng Guang, a former top epidemiologist at the China CDC, warned that epidemics come in waves, one after the other, and that the worst outbreak is yet to come. According to Caixin, Zheng said on January 8 at the Recombinant Vaccine Research and Development Conference that the peak of the epidemic in China will last 2 to 3 months, with the peak of severe cases lasting longer. This means that neither the death toll nor the short-term burden on the healthcare system can be reduced. According to Mr. Zheng, a new peak has begun in some areas, especially in rural areas. The expert was particularly concerned about the deteriorating health conditions in rural areas, where there are many elderly, ill, and destitute people. As a result, the rural healthcare system will be poorer than in cities. He stated, the prevention and control strategies in rural areas are very well written. But the problem is how to implement those strategies. This is a big problem. According to Zhang Wenhong, director of the National Center for Infectious Diseases, the second wave of infections would peak between May and June of this year. Throughout the complicated progression of the epidemic, the CCP consistently refused requests for vaccine aid from the European Union, Germany, in the United States, followed by the exclusion of Pfizer's antiviral drug Paxlovid from mainland health insurance. Many CCP police officers died mysteriously. The youngest was just 37 years old. The media recently reported on the deaths of many CCP police officers. The oldest of them was 58 years old and the youngest was only 37 years old. According to the Epoch Times, citing Sina.com, Pu Xiaorong, a member of the party committee of the Gansu Provincial Public Security Bureau's Forestry Public Security Bureau and Deputy Director and Second-Level Police Sergeant Major, died of illness on the afternoon of December 30, 2022, at the age of 58. Despite a report on Forest China Net of Pu Xiaorong's death, the Gansu Provincial Public Security Bureau remained silent. Additionally, Mr. Pu Xiaorong's death was discovered by a Weibo blogger who focuses on monitoring CCP police news. This blogger also reported that Qi Weiyun, the fourth-level police chief of the Criminal Investigation Team of the Public Security Department of Chuxiong City, died of illness at 4:46 a.m. on January 12, 2023, at the age of 37. Lu Xiaoming, the police chief of the 2nd Company of the Special Patrol Police Squadron of the Tianning Branch in Changzhou City, died of a heart attack on December 21, 2022, at the age of 50. CCP member Lu Kai, the 3rd-grade police chief and head of the Maolin police station, became suddenly ill on December 30, 2022, and passed away at the age of 39 on December 31. Furthermore, many other CCP police officers died in the final days of December last year at a very young age due to sudden illness, including Yan Xiaolin, 51 years old, Yi Jingkai, 41 years old, and Yang Xishan, 58 years old. According to the Epoch Times, with a surge in the number of COVID-19 infections and deaths across China, the sudden deaths of a great number of police officers over the same period inevitably creates suspicions that they also died from COVID-19. After Biden announced his 2020 presidential campaign, China's donations to the Biden Center increased by 400% to $50 million. Aside from the Chinese epidemic, there was recent news that gained worldwide attention, creating suspicion about the CCP's growing influence on the U.S. government. According to an article from the Gateway Pundit on January 10, as soon as Biden announced his 2020 run for president, China upped its donations to the Biden Center by 400%, giving $50 million to the University of Pennsylvania's Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement. The Biden Center opened in March 2017, about a year before Biden announced his campaign. According to the complaint filed by the National Legal and Policy Center, a conservative public ethics group, out of a total of $7.7 million in donations from China, $500,000 came from anonymous donors. After Biden launched his campaign in 2018, the total jumped to $27.1 million, with anonymous donors contributing $15.8 million. And in 2019, Chinese donors gave $26.9 million to the center, with $6 million given anonymously. It turns out that the Biden Center was mostly funded by Chinese donors. Peter Flaherty, NLPC chairman, told Fox News on Saturday that academia is awash in Chinese cash. It's time for administrators to start answering questions about it. When the large sums of money are combined with the timeline of Joe Biden's presidential campaign, it is clear that the Chinese money was not donated simply to educate the future generation. President Biden seems to be repaying those who helped him get away with it. He is recruiting everyone involved with the Biden Center and placing them in powerful positions within the government, particularly in foreign policy. Antony Blinken, the Biden administration's Secretary of State, is a great example. Blinken was the Biden Center's managing director from 2017 until he left to join Biden's presidential campaign in 2019. According to the Gateway Pundit, the Biden team has numerous entanglements with China. There are enough known relationships to conclude that China infiltrated the Biden campaign and benefited from it. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.